Welcome back, everyone, to the All Sports Network. Some weird news lately. From Scottie Pippen. Now, I've never viewed Scottie Pippen as a guy in MJ's shadow. When I was getting to basketball, I studied passing and defense like crazy. One of the guys I would watch a lot was Scottie Pippen. Just the way he played. Like the way he played defense, his passing, which I believe is underrated. Um, and I've always appreciated his game. Um, However, off the court, I don't think I've ever liked Scottie Pippen. Now, I've seen him on sports shows and stuff, and he comes off as this guy that doesn't do his research, honestly. I remember one time him talking about LeBron. I think it was in 2018 when he was doing crazy things in the playoffs, and he's like, "Oh, I believe that maybe his stats might be better than Jordan's or whatever." And that was such a weird thing because it's so easy to research, and he obviously hadn't. And he's weird. Like I've seen him give props to LeBron, and then weeks later, I remember seeing him saying that until someone like LeBron gets 6 rings, he's not better than him. So yeah, never liked Scottie Pippen though. He's always seemed a little stupid, honestly. But recently he called Phil Jackson a racist, and in my mind, I was like, oh shoot, like is that maybe some stuff in the locker rooms or behind closed doors, like that type of thing, but no. uh, he called the you know when MJ first left the Bulls. There was that uh, playoff moment, right, where Scotty wanted the last shot, but Phil Jackson drove a play, to give it to Kukoc, and Scotty was mad, like he didn't even end up playing, um, that in that last play, but um, so yeah, so that happened right though, and on one hand, um, you could say, yeah, Scotty is a star player. Maybe he does deserve the shot, but Phil Jackson is a great coach, honestly. He's a great coach, and I don't believe that was racially. I don't believe that had anything to do with race, honestly. that play. Um, I just, I mean, you know, um, MJ passed it to Kerr in like '98. He trusted him with that shot. I'm sure Phil drew up that play. And I'm sure that wasn't him being racist against, um, Michael Jordan. Uh, it just very seems like Scottie Pippen is still very salty. To me, this gives off the impression that he's butthurt and that he's probably broke right now. um, I don't see another reason to warrant all this in 2021. Apparently, he threw some shade at NJ for um, acting for the cameras. You know, something MJ has that Scottie Pippen definitely does not have is a killer mentality, right? Um, that stuff is entertaining, man. Like it is entertaining. Like seeing that killer mentality in action. Um, and Scottie Pippen believes that a lot of stuff was rehearsed or whatever, though. Um, yeah, to me it just it sounds a little retarded. I've seen them just acting. We've all seen Space Jam. Um, Nothing spectacular, and so they definitely don't believe that. Nor do I believe we should believe that. he threw some shit at, um, so he elaborated more on Phil Jackson being racist, with the book he wrote right after the '04 season, with the Lakers. Where he was, if for those who don't know, after the '04 season, which was a mess. I mean, I wasn't there to watch it, but if you do your research and whatnot, though, it was a mess. Shaq and Kobe, they were feuding. They lost to the Pistons. The Pistons didn't even have a superstar. It's not like they lost in seven. They lost in 5 games. That. It was brutal for the Lakers. And Phil Jackson, he stepped down that year, and he wrote a book where he criticized Kobe, and I mean, he really criticized Kobe, like Phil Jackson. He, if you have seen it, or if you see it, it really does feel like Phil Jackson really did go all out. And it sucks that Kobe isn't alive anymore. Honestly, now obviously I wasn't there or anything like that though, but from the way Kobe, has acted and some of the things he said, throughout his career, '04 Kobe, that's not the same Kobe from '08, '09, '10. That's not the same Kobe in 2012, 2013. It's not. That Kobe, that Kobe was built different. You know, um, in '04 he was a lot younger. He yeah, I'm sure he's probably said himself though. It's just that I know Kobe's also talked about this publicly, but like maturity. That was a big thing though. Okay, I don't believe, let's say it was '08 Kobe or whatever though. I don't believe he says some of the stuff um, that he did about Shaq. If that was an '04 or whatever. I just it doesn't seem that way at all though. And this is when I want to bring up killer mentality again, because we all know Kobe. He had a killer mentality. It was obvious. He was a killer. I don't I don't believe he. I refuse to believe that he looked like he read Phil Jackson's book and was just upset, or whatever though, and just shut down or whatever. I assume he looked at that and probably wanted to get better as a player and as a person, because that's who Kobe was. Like we've all seen Kobe in action. That's what made him Kobe esque. He doesn't have the Scottie Pippen mentality of being a baby. When he doesn't get what he wants or whatever. If I mean honestly, like if Scottie Pippen, was Kobe in '04, he probably doesn't even play, until they trade Shaq or whatever, because Scottie Pippen was a baby, man. Like, he was a baby. Like, he, MJ, well, yeah, MJ had terrific stats and all that, but he's a guy that, once he really figured it out, he was averaging like 38 and 8, playing point guard. He was he had some of the best stats of his career. You know, Phil Jackson comes along and he sacrificed individual stats to win championships. That's what he did, and he was successful because MJ was, he was all about winning. Like MJ wasn't selfish and like, no, I'm taking the last shot or whatever. Though, it was just like, do whatever you can to win. um, and so Scottie Pippen, he's a baby. He's a freaking baby. He's so butthurt, and it's weird. Like I can't imagine. I mean, when that happened, um, I don't think people imagined, that, 28 years later, that Scottie Pippen will still be crying about it. I mean, if you saw The Last Dance, you would assume that, yeah, maybe bothers him, but it's okay because he got 6 rings. Instead, he's like, he seems to not care that much about the fact that he won 6 rings. you know, um, it's so weird, man. Like, if you didn't know the amount of championships that Scottie Pippen won, you would think that he was a talented player, but nothing too special. Like he complained heavily in his career. Um, he signed that outrageous contract extension. That was paying him pennies. I mean, by the end of his career, he actually ended up making more than Michael Jordan. But yeah, he Scottie Pippen never liked him though. And he's gotta be broke. Like he's gotta be broke. There's no reason to be throwing shade really at Phil Jackson, at Michael Jordan. And I can't believe he's talking about. I can't believe he involved Kobe too. Honestly, um, like I said earlier, we all know Kobe was a competitor. And he was he became a role model and all that though. You know, he. I doubt he thought of Phil Jackson's racist. MJ. I doubt MJ thinks of him as a racist. We saw the Last Dance. Okay, like it's obvious that um, MJ really did like Phil Jackson. If Jerry Krause would have really been more about it, at that time, MJ keeps playing until Phil Jackson's out. You know, um, and that's gotta show you that Phil Jackson was really liked, by his dudes. Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time, and he would have returned solely for Phil Jackson. Well, not solely for Phil Jackson, but Phil Jackson was definitely a big part of it. Okay, now Scottie Pippen saying some bullcrap. Yeah, no. I hope his book sells terribly, and I hope. Honestly, I just hope he gets a lot of backlash. Honestly, he deserves it for pulling crap like this.